Well, Israel is declaring a new phase of the war against Hezbollah. In the latest round of attacks, fighter jets flew over Beirut, striking areas in southern Lebanon. The IDF reported it hit at least 30 Hezbollah targets, including a weapons storage facility. Israel said the bombings were aimed at degrading the group's capabilities and infrastructure. The announcement went out just as the leader of the Iranian-backed militant group began speaking. In a speech, Hassan Nasrallah gave his response to the apparent coordinated attacks targeting handheld electronic devices. Nasrallah said that Israel had crossed all red lines and laws, and he vowed retaliation against Israel.
The reckoning will come. Its nature, scope, when and where. That's something we will definitely keep to ourselves within the tightest circle, even within ourselves, because we are in the most precise, sensitive and deeply significant part of the battle.
Lebanese officials say 37 people were killed and another 3,300 injured when pagers and walkie-talkies used mostly by Hezbollah militants detonated. Reports out of the Middle East say Israel's defense forces and intelligence services combined on the operation against Hezbollah. Nasrallah called Israel's attacks a historic blow, but pledged a crushing response from the axis of resistance. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State is visiting France, trying to work toward a ceasefire in Gaza. He addressed the difficulty of tensions between Israel and Lebanon.
There is a real problem that needs to be resolved when it comes to northern Israel and southern Lebanon, and that is the fact that since October 8th, Hezbollah has been firing rockets into Israel. Israel's been firing back. The population in both northern Israel and southern Lebanon has had to flee their homes, and we all want to see them be able to go back to their homes, and that requires a secure environment.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah says that it struck military positions in northern Israel, wounding at least 8 people. The United Nations is set to meet tomorrow to discuss the spiraling security situation in the region. And here now with analysis on this developing story is Daoud with the Foundation for Defending Democracies. He is also an expert on Hezbollah and Lebanon. David, good to be with you today. Hezbollah's leader, that is, Hassan Nasrallah, had said that Israel crossed all rules and red lines with these attacks. He also said in part that it could be considered a declaration of war. Now, Hezbollah and Israel have been involved in this conflict for quite some time now. So, in a way, aren't they already at war?
Thank you for having me on again. Yes, absolutely they are. And this isn't the first time that Nasrallah himself has declared what's going on between Israel and Hezbollah, a war ever since the organization began attacking Israel on October 8th without prior provocation. The comment has to be contextualized within the rest of his speech, which was essentially an exercise in damage control, where Nasrallah tried to downplay the extent of the Israeli accomplishment with the telecommunications device attack, and then tried to misdirect towards the alleged accomplishments of Hezbollah since October 8th. Namely, opening up this support front, as they've called it, for Gaza and the impact it's had on Israeli society and morale. And then he ended with a challenge to Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, if you think you can return the residents of northern Israel to their homes by force, I dare you to do so. So this was mostly a chest-puffing speech that was meant to do damage control, to cover up the humiliation that attended the actual physical attack that Israel succeeded in carrying out against Hezbollah.
Yeah, and Hezbollah pledging this massive response, but their communication system at least is partially dismantled. So how would they be able to plan and carry out such an attack?
Look, I don't think that Hezbollah lacks for creativity or means, right? This is definitely a disruption to their battle readiness. Not just in terms of disrupting their telecommunications network, but if we're going to take the numbers at face value, 37, if I'm not mistaken, of their fighters have been killed, 200 critically wounded, and thousands more wounded to some degree. And if you think of where these injuries occurred, either to their eyes, to their hands, to their pelvic region, perhaps they've been put out of commission for battle permanently. But again, the organization is not that brittle. They are able to continue fighting, as we're saying. They're continuing to to fire upon northern Israel. And it all depends now on the Israelis really pressing the advantage that they gained from this cyber attack and whether they choose to do so or not.
Not a whole lot of time left, David, but I do want to touch on this. An Israeli man has been arrested in connection with an Iranian-backed assassination plot against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Is there more that you can tell us about that, and what does this signal?
Oh, this isn't the first time that Iran has sought to or has actually recruited Israeli citizens, including Israeli Jewish citizens, for such purposes. Usually Israeli Jews of Persian Jewish extraction who have family in Iran. That's been used as leverage against them. This man appears to have been brought into this web through bad business dealings and kind of been caught up in this. It seems like, from what I understand from what's been allowed to be reported in Israeli media, that he was happy when he was caught. So this was foiled in its tracks, but it's par for the course for Iran.
Yeah. And before I let you go, quickly, where do you see this all going?
It remains to be seen now. It's hard to see if the Israelis want to press the advantage or not. They've moved forces to the north, but that could be an anticipation of what they expected to be Hezbollah's response. I don't see Hezbollah initiating a full conflict. They don't want it now. They're not at an advantage to do so now. Lebanon's not in a position to withstand such a conflict. So I think we're going to see Hezbollah trying to take things back to the status quo ante prior to the telecommunications attack. But we're also seeing an intensification of Israeli strikes in South Lebanon now. And again, whether that goes to a full conflict or it's just a ratcheting up to a new intermediate phase remains to be seen.
Well, David, great to be with you, and thank you so much for your insights. I always appreciate it.
My pleasure.